Welcome back to Advance Wars 2 Reboot Camp. Last time, we completed Test of Time, the lab mission, and unlocked Neotanks for Orange Star. And now there's only one location to go before Orange Star is completely liberated. It is time for the aptly named Liberation. Now, in the original GBA version, I remember this mission on hard mode has about the same stars of difficulty as the final mission of normal mode. That's not actually an exaggeration. On hard, this is legitimately quite rough. At last, the enemy stronghold is ahead. Can Orange Star win back the country?
Oh, flag, flag, flag. You seem to be having a rough day.
On normal mode, this is the first time you're supposed to be meeting Adder, but on challenge mode, we've already encountered him in battle. Yeah, he's the focus character for that arc of the story.
Leave off, Flag!
We have a character select for this, and I am definitely going with Max. And yeah, we get new music for that, which is, according to the sound test, that is actually called the Black Hole National Anthem. Which is kind of weird. Some kind of installation, huh? Yeah, it's a pretty dang big installation. Taking up the space of like 9 factories. Well, you know, 9 small factories, or bases, because this is what's actually called a factory in Black Hole Rising. So this is basically the enemy stronghold.
Yes.
Okay, wow, we actually have spies here. It kind of makes me wish there was some kind of spy unit. I don't know how that'd work, but it'd be cool. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try and capture ourselves a few properties, namely that airport and those 2 bases.
Sure.
We've also got a nearby missile silo. Sammy can help here in terms of grabbing properties faster, but I prefer Max because we've got bases and airports, and there's another reason why I prefer Max here, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Now, the annoying thing is, there are some forests here that are positioned just wrong to interfere in your progress over here. I think mechs generally will reach this base faster, but you can also go for an APC to grab this base quickly. Also this airport. The fighting over these 2 properties is going to be fairly intense. This map has actually changed a little bit since the original, since the normal mode version. The missile silos definitely weren't here, but also this side of the map has become a little bit more complicated with mountains and forests, but also there's an airport within capturing distance of that base. And also, there's a black hole base right in front of this pipe, and that's important for reasons that Nell will explain. I am actually going to go for an infantry and APC opening. Oh yeah, we can get Neotanks now, but I'll explain more about how those work once I can practically afford them. They're a good unit for this map, though.
Yes.
The unit is ready. What unit? Yep, a copter and a recon. And they cost nothing, and they can move the turn they come out of the factory. It all makes sense now. Black Hole can spontaneously manufacture people. And then technically speaking, with their cloning technology, they can. So that's what they were saying earlier about the fact that they need resources and the fact that they want to steal everything not nailed down. So it all goes into that pipe and winds up somewhere else.
Oh, come on! Oh.
Yes, the power of friendship will see us through. So we don't quite know how to deal with this factory, but we do know this pipe is funneling its resources elsewhere. Thankfully, Flak's infantry is going to be distracted getting those cities next to there. And income doesn't hugely matter for Flak since he gets a whole ton of free units. But still... Okay, that copter is not going anywhere. But here we go. Yeah, the factory is made of pure Nintendium and is indestructible, just like that Game Boy that survived a bomb blast. Seriously? Not even mine? But here's the thing.
Come on!
And they're not bolted together well. Actually, this is kind of cool that Max is mentioning medium tanks and bombers. So, the reason why I find Max so good in the campaign is that his bombers one-shot pipe seams, which means all I need to do is get one of them to that pipe and it's game over. The problem is the power score, and also the fact that we're getting assaulted by a whole lot of units from that factory, so technique's going to be a problem as well. Getting a good power score in factory maps is very, very hard because the enemy is going to be getting free units almost constantly. You can put units in front of the factory to block off its entrances, but you've got to be careful because since units that come out of the factory can move in the same turn, they're essentially ambush spawns from Fire Emblem. So, like, for example, if I tried to put an infantry near it and suddenly an anti-air came out of the factory, that infantry is dead. So you've got to be very, very careful. Oh yes, in case you didn't know, your CO meter fills fast when you're losing, but doesn't it happen a lot here?
Yeah!
Okay, doing a quick cut here because I need to talk about Neotanks. They're going to be very important to my strategy for this map. Neotanks cost 22,000, as much as a bomber. And in the campaign, you need to have completed your respective nation's lab mission in order to be able to build them. Now note that this is only for campaign. In War Room and Versus mode, you can always build Neotanks. They cost 6,000 more than medium tanks. And the thing is, their defense isn't all that much higher. They still get wrecked by artillery and rockets, so what advantages do Neotanks have? Well, they do ridiculous damage to basically every ground unit. They are essentially land-based bombers, slightly weaker, but they still decimate light vehicles, medium tanks, and are almost as good against infantry as anti-airs. Their machine guns are even a mild threat to battlecopters of all things. And they can do solid damage to ships if they can hit them on the shoreline. But because of the weakness to indirects and the high cost, people used to think that Neotanks weren't worth it over medium tanks. But there is one huge advantage they have, and it's that 6 movement versus a medium tank's 5. It might not seem like much, but as I keep saying, in turn-based strategy games, every point of movement counts. And because Neotanks are just as mobile as regular tanks, it makes them great at catching and destroying them. But also it means they can make better use of powers that boost movement, they can get to places that medium tanks otherwise can't get to, they're a little better at crossing rough terrain than medium tanks are by proxy. That mobility is what makes Neotanks so good, and that is well worth the extra price. Especially for a CO like Max, whose Neotanks can one-shot pipe seams and other structures during Max Force, at the very least. With Max Blast, they more than one-shot.
More flak!
Smash him!
Unfortunately, that's quite likely a flak on hard mode, so this is gonna be kind of rough. I'm still worried about that, copter. But yeah, as you can see there, no units came out of the factory that turn. Units coming out of the factory, it's kind of, it can depend. This could come back to bite me, because sometimes Neotanks can come out of the factory. Saving up some funds to build a copter next turn out of this airport, although there's an anti-air right there. I'm so sorry, infantry, but it's gonna die anyway, so I might as well get some damage on both the anti-air and the copter. Oh! That was stupid. Yeah, he got a fighter out of the factory. He is really piling on the pressure across that base. He doesn't have many infantry in the vicinity, apart from this one, though. Well, I stand corrected. He has that mech. I have a suspicion something bad's coming out of the factory this turn. 2 Neotanks and a rocket. When I said I thought something bad would come out of that factory, I was not thinking it would be that bad. Yeah, this map is listed under that one level on TV tropes for the Advance Wars series for a reason. But yep, it begins. It begins. Oh! This anti-air stopped me from being able to afford a Neotank. I'd appreciate if... Okay, no. He's already on my HQ. Okay, but I can get a Neotank now. I don't know if it's going to really help much, but I have one now at least. Of course, again, if the Neotank actually reaches the pipe unscathed, it does instantly destroy it, regardless if I have my power or not. So I'm kind of wondering whether or not I use brute force. Now I think Max is flak. Here's the thing about Neotanks. They are kind of one-shot infantry, even on properties, a lot of the time. I always hate it when he gets 3 copters out of the factory. This is gonna be... this is gonna be difficult. This mission's probably gonna take a little while to figure out. Well, I mean, if you would attack my Neotank there, that would have been really bad. And yeah, I have Max Blast. I don't really see what good it's gonna do, though. Actually, hang on a second.
You're gonna get hurt.
This is kind of a bad time to hear the Orange Star superpower theme for the first time. Or the Allied Nation superpower theme. But, like, with this, I am guaranteed to one-shot this. But yeah, my plan right now is to block off this base and make sure that, and he just blocked off the HQ, okay then. Yeah, like, as usual, outright losing missions in Advance Wars is quite hard, but just the real challenge is getting a good rank on something like this. So, bizarrely, I actually win. But I just want to see how garbage my rank was here. Case in... Wait, that's... What? Wait, it's only a one-shot during CO Powers. Okay, as rushing for that airport didn't work last time, I think I'm instead going to just go for full-on infantry. I think I need to secure that northern base as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because I've since learned that Max's Neotanks actually don't one-shot pipe seams. I could have sworn they did. That must be only during his power, because I know that his bombers do. But yeah, with his infantry, this might actually be why Sammy may be somewhat decent here, but this will let me grab some income out of there. Well, it would, but he got a recon out of the factory immediately. Kind of forgot that he did that. Yeah, I'm gonna see how far just spamming infantry on the first few turns gets me. Because I'm pretty sure that his build order from the factory is always the same, but the fact that he gets a recon and a battlecopter on turn 1 is just... That's a little ridiculous. As very hard to deal with this low income. That's why they give you all these missile silos. But I don't know if I want to use them now, because it gets even crazier later on. I probably do need a mech, though, to kind of ward away that recon. But other than that, I can just get some more infantry. I feel like the best way to beat this mission is going to be just to try and finish it as soon as possible, because that's going to make the power score more manageable. Because if you let this go on any longer than that, Flak is just going to get so many units, and there's just no way you'll be able to get a good power score, because you just can't deploy much of anything good here. So, yeah. Also, there's a missile silo within reach of, like, him at the start, but he typically likes to target, like, a big clump of units as opposed to things that are actually capturing. But we'll see. Okay, he just got an APC out of that. I think that's typically what he always does. Yeah, see, he's not going for the airport straight away, whereas if you try and rush the airport, he generally clusters some artillery and anti-air and copters around it, and you usually don't have the airport for long. I think I'm going to hold off on the missile just yet, though. The missiles might help getting a good power score later. If this attempt doesn't work, I might actually switch to Sammy, because I think it's entirely possible that Sammy's capturing abilities could really help here. Even though she has a little bit weaker of a time hitting the pipe, I'm pretty sure that anybody is going to two-shot the pipe with a Neotank, even Sammy, because minus 10% firepower doesn't really mean that much when your base damage is 90%, so it's going to be a two-shot regardless. Okay, where's the missile going? It didn't hit anything that was in a position to capture, which is great. But yeah, he's got an APC now. And he's doing that. Okay then. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a tough time getting that base. I am able to preemptively strike that, but it does mean the other infantry will be able to hit me. Like, my kind of goal here is to just keep this steady stream of infantry coming until eventually he doesn't have an answer to it at that base. But if he builds tanks out of there, I will need mechs rather than infantry. And if you do go for mechs here, you do really start to feel the fact that they are 3 times as expensive as infantry. Again, I don't think I'll go for that just yet. And let's see how far the copter can go. Not all the way up to the neck, so yeah, I think, again, as long as I keep churning out these infantry, by the time I do actually get that base, I may be able to get an early Neotank out of it, and that's probably the main strategy I have to go for here. Although, okay, yeah, just infantry and a mech out of the factory. That's not horrible, but it's not great either. Is he going to fire on my capturing guy? Oh yeah, he got a medium tank earlier as well. No, he's going to prioritize the thing with the lower defense, which is great, because it means I get that base. Yeah, this is where the AI has kind of questionable decision-making skills. He is going pretty hard for that base, though. I think I may have a shot at the airport. Not just yet. Right, because of the mountain. Okay, in that case, I think you'll just go up 1. Just in case I need you across the river as opposed to on that airport. And see, okay, he did get a tank, which is problematic because I don't really have anything in the area that can deal with a tank right now. Although next turn I could get a medium tank out of this base. I mean, I can't get a medium tank yet, so I probably should actually go for a Neotank then later, but I don't like that there's an anti-air right here. I don't like having to do this, but I may have to. Because if that thing gets the first strike on my mech, it's really the only answer I have to the anti-air that's down here right now. I'm pretty sure you can still reach me, though. Okay, you can. But if I get a second mech, maybe? Because what's my... I mean, my income is... it's only 7,000, so I go up to 24,000 next turn. I don't want to not build anything this turn, though, but I'm going to actually go for it because my logic is if I get the Neotank next turn, I might be able to afford a couple of mechs out of my main base. at the same time. And yeah, he got a fighter because he just really wants to screw over any attempts at using that airport to get bombers. I've never seen him get a bomber out of the factory in this map, though, so maybe that's a small mercy that Flak gives you here. Okay, surviving with 4 HP is nice. Though that may have been a bad luck roll on Flak's part. And I had a feeling that the thing was going to die, though. Oh, the copter is coming. Because the copter is actually a potential threat to any Neotank that I get. It's actually kind of funny, though, because Neotanks are, like, reasonably powerful against transport copters. I mean, a lot of things are, but still. He didn't build anything out of the northern base, but okay, yeah, right, I have enough now. So, I guess you can zip around to the side of this guy and finish him. And now, this combined with the infantry... No, the infantry's not going to finish that. I was hoping that I'd be able to make a slight push for the power score there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the only way you are reasonably getting a good power score on this is if you just rush down the pipe with an early Neotank, because there's no other way. See, I don't even want to attempt to... I don't want to... that copter's going to get lured regardless. There's no way this infantry can go that doesn't get hit by it. I don't like the fact that there'll be a copter very close to my... Let me check something. Only 7,000 funds. So I can only afford to spend 1,000 and still afford an anti-air next turn. Because if I get an anti-air, of course, that's going to kill the mech, though. Maybe I can just try and get a little bit of damage here. Yeah, a little bit of chip damage. It's probably going to retreat now, actually. He's still nowhere close to getting his power, but, yeah, I can probably only afford 1 infantry, but I may as well get it closer to the artillery, because I may be able to try and hit it with that. Question is, how much, okay, he has a decent amount of funds right now, but not enough for a medium tank. If you get a regular tank out of the thing, though, but yeah, that airport down there is usually a lost cause. Don't go for it, it's not going to end well. In general, like, Flak just has such overwhelming forces in this map that, like, going for really anything is not going to end well. And, oh, yeah, that copter just did the thing that you often see battlecopters do in competitive matches, and that is to use a river to avoid potentially getting hit by anti-air. As long as I don't build any air units, that fighter is useless, but it can potentially block me. It'd really suck if it went in front of the pipe. Oh, yikes, he got rockets. That is going to zone out my Neotank. Or is it? See, here's the cool thing about Neotanks. They have 6 movement as compared to the 5 movement of medium tanks. And sometimes that 1 extra point of movement makes all the difference. People used to think that Neotanks weren't worth the massive increase in cost they have over medium tanks, simply because they don't actually have that much higher defense than medium tanks do, especially against indirects. But the thing is that, again, that 1 extra movement, don't underestimate that. That helps more than you might think. For example, a medium tank here would not be able to get within that rocket's minimum range. And yeah, as I've always said, movement in a turn-based strategy game is always important. And that 1 extra point of movement over medium tanks helps a lot more than you might think. But yeah, that copter just used the river to... You know what? If I do that, though, it's going to die. I mean, it means he uses 1, like, less unit up there, but how am I... yeah, I'm getting a little strapped for technique right now. Especially since this rocket's going to maybe kill some things. But it's just like, I don't want the battlecopter to hit the Neotank is the thing. Because I'm not going to be able to afford another Neotank for a really long time. It's sort of the fruits of all of my savings from the start of this map. And yeah, right now I've spent basically everything I have. But Flak did use up a lot of his funds. And yeah, 2 Neotanks. That does happen eventually. And I'm really hoping those don't go straight towards my Neotank, otherwise my plan could be sunk. It's funny because even though he likes to, you know, I think I'm actually in range of that missile silo. So I may be able to missile his Neotanks. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to, but maybe I will be. Let's see where they go. Okay, that one's going down. They're both going down. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah, because Flak's assault on my main base is not really going to be that much of an issue because, as long as I get the pipe, it doesn't really matter, what he does to my main base right now. However, I'm not doing so hot on technique at the moment. But it is really... freaking rivers, yeah. These battlecopters are always just an absolute pest to deal with here. Yeah, apologies if I seem saltier than usual, it's just that, like, this map is brutal and I have to beat it to get out of Orange Star and get to the much more interesting missions. But okay then. Yeah, so, Neotanks do 100% base damage, over 100% base damage to rockets with max. And what's actually really cool about Neotanks is that in the original game, they all had the exact same design, regardless of who used them. But here, you can see that the Black Hole Neotanks look a little bit different to the Orange Star ones. Every faction now has their own unique Neotank designs. Okay, so I am kinda getting him locked down at the pipe right now. The problem is, at the moment, my technique score is not looking so good. So I need a mech up there. And, well, he doesn't have anything on my HQ just yet, so let's build some more things. So disappointingly, this turn he's going to get both the base and the airport. And he might use Brute Force now? No, he's not using Brute Force, because if he was going to use it, he'd use it right before he took any engagements. Now, I'm not under any illusions that I will get that base in front of the pipe seam. I just want to make sure he doesn't build anything out of it. So as long as this infantry survives, and it did, I'm good, because now I can put the Neotank there and start slugging away at his pipe. In fact, if I have max force, I actually win next turn. That's interesting. But I don't know if I'll have a good power score. Or technique. Oh, and he's close to that missile. Do I have max force? Oh my god, I'm just barely off max force. If I had max force, I can kill that too. Okay. Oh, and I can't reset turn because of hard mode, so... That artillery is worth 6,000, so 2 HP on it is worth, 1,200, which is more than that full infantry. That copter is worth 5,000. That APC is also worth 5,000. So... 30% to 5,000 is... It's probably worth more than the artillery is. Because I'm just like, how close am I to... Oh, I'm like an absolute inch off of max force. Like, part of me wants to do that, and then... Because if my infantry... You know what? I wonder if this will kill you. Let's just find out. Ah, just barely not. And that wasn't even enough to get me max force. That's... I think if I got a better luck roll, I might have got it, but like... Will taking enough damage on this infantry push me into max force? Because I'm trying to debate whether I try and kill that with the infantry, or if I just try and kamikaze one of my infantry into the battlecopter, hoping that the damage that I take gives me max force. Because again, if I get max force, I kill the copter with the anti-air, and then if I kill this, that'll be... I can't believe... If I had killed that recon with the luck roll, I might have actually secured perfect power. Okay, here's the thing. And I'm going to intentionally attack this thing from not the city, because I want to be taking as much damage as possible here. And I also want Flak to roll well on luck. Okay, that was a decent amount of damage that I took. Is that going to give me max force? It is! Okay.
Roll, tanks, roll.
It's really weird to see, like, strats that involve, like, deliberately getting your own units damaged just to give you, like, a power, but we get to hear the Allied Nations CO power theme from the original GBA game. It only plays on factory maps in the remake. And okay, with max force, a Neotank does... Yep, it one-shots the pipe. Oh, now we get to hear the full Orange Star theme song.
Go! Yeah!
Yeah, this line makes a little bit more sense in the lower difficulties where you haven't fought Adder and Hawk yet. But we already know all the Black Hole COs. They're more than in the crosshairs, they're already under attack. This is also not the last time we'll be facing off against Flak.
Blast it!
Because things are going to get tougher from now on, although we'll have a bit of a breather because this is actually the hardest mission for quite a while. Yeah, Orange Star is going to be out of the fight for a bit. In Black Hole Rising, the other nations take center stage for most of the campaign. Orange Star was just the tutorial. Oh yeah! Oh boy, if this actually was the successful S rank, I think I might show some footage from my first run of this, and you will see exactly what low morale looks like. I do not like this mission on hard mode at all. Yeah, please tell me that all the 3 COs get medals for this.
Roger.
They should have got a lot of medals already. Well, maybe not Andy. It is kind of a shame that Nell's never playable in the other campaigns outside of the tutorial, and then Nell isn't even in Dual Strike. But this is not going to be the last time we see Max in a factory mission, because this firepower on Neotanks and Bombers being able to potentially one-shot the pipe during his powers, this makes Max one of the best characters to use for factory levels. Okay, please tell me that was good enough power.
Orange Star never backs down.
It was 100 power, nice, okay then. So yeah, it might look like I sort of cheesed that. On hard mode, that is basically the only way you can handle this. You have to go for an early Neotank and rush down the pipe seam, because otherwise, Flak will just spam so many units, there is no way that you are going to get a good power score on that. Also, you'll just get slaughtered and your technique will be complete garbage as well. Liberation on challenge mode does not mess around. You know what? This has grown on me. So, this remix, I have very, very, very high standards because the original version of Factory Domination, the victory theme for the factory missions, was my favorite victory music in any video game. It's definitely childhood nostalgia talking, but it is still a very good song. But this version is growing on me. I still like it. I still think it's very good. And you won't be seeing this now, but if you are playing on Classic or Casual, you unlock Flak for beating this mission in Reboot Camp. Yes, they actually have the audacity to make you unlock Flak, of all characters. But now that Orange Star has been liberated, I'm not going to end things just yet because we have some cutscenes to go through. And a choice to make.
This is terrible. Red! Red, where are you?
Hey now, I'm right here. What's all the commotion, Olaf?
Gah!
Oh yes, bringing you to near ruin, yeah, yeah, put all the blame on them for you launching an invasion that's, like an unprovoked invasion of Orange Star, anyway. Olaf is a lot nicer in the second game, by the way. Also, he's way less dumb.
Sir, reporting for duty, sir.
But Blue Moon has a new face now, and it's one that's, oh wow, if they had this guy on their side when they invaded Orange Star, we would have been doomed in the first campaign. Who is this small child?
I'm Colin, sir. Today is the very first day of my posting to headquarters.
I'll talk more about this later. Colin is maybe my least favorite redesign in Reboot Camp. Because in the original artwork, he definitely looked younger than Olaf and Grit, but he didn't look like a child to me. So, yeah, I still feel like him being a small child is very awkward, especially in a game that takes itself more seriously. From the best, huh? Well, that actually does kind of sum up Advance Wars 2 Olaf. He's a lot better than he was in the first game.
Sir, yes, sir.
Howdy there.
Oh, I kind of wish this was voice acted. This is one of my favorite exchanges in the original game. It's just kind of subtle, but I just like the, sir, yes, sir, howdy, sir. Like, yeah, in the original, in my headcanon, Colin wasn't, like, young. He was just new and inexperienced, but definitely implied to be younger in this version.
Sir, yes, sir.
Also, interestingly, he is voiced by Erica Harlacher, which is the first time I've ever heard her play a boy. It's kind of interesting, given that, like, Grit was, like, one of the few competent people in Blue Moon in the first game, and, in Black Hole Rising, he seems like he's kind of the weak link there. He's a lot more apathetic, but,
Yes, sir.
that's gonna change. Once he sees what Black Hole is capable of. Meanwhile...
Father? Come quickly.
Ah, Sonia. But good timing. I can't seem to find my other sock.
Okay, yes, they did voice this, that's amazing.
Yes, sir.
Hostile forces. Yes, we must consider that.
Sensei.
Can't an old man drop in and check up on a former student, Kanbei?
So, just like Blue Moon, the new addition to Gold Comet is very much an asset. I'm looking very forward to trying him out. I'm sure a lot of you have been looking forward to it too. He is like one of the most popular characters in the whole Wars series for good reason. Oh yeah, this line's pretty much unchanged. That's pretty cool. Father controls not just the land though, he controls everything. Especially in Black Hole Rising, you'll see. Gold Comet is ridiculously strong in Advance Wars 2. Even Sonya, she got a huge buff from the first game. Kanbei somehow got buffed, and Sensei's amazing, so, yeah, Black Hole's gonna really regret this.
Preparations complete, Commander.
Oh, that's a cool design. Yes, and this time, Kanbei's a lot smarter, and is not gonna just mistake, Orange Star for an aggressive invasion. So, we have a choice here. Even though these missions are numbered with Blue Moons first, we do have the option to do Gold Comets first instead. In fact, you can mix and match between the two nations as much as you like, though you do have to liberate both of them before you can go to Green Earth. Now, Gold Comet's campaign is a little harder than Blue Moon's, a lot harder in the case of this mission. Not looking forward to this one. But the order that you liberate their factories is actually important, as it will change the way the factory mission in the one you do second plays out. Now, in my previous playthrough of this game on the channel, I did Blue Moon first because that's the obvious choice. I have never done Gold Comet first, and that's what I'm going to do in this run. And you know what? It's mostly just so I can play this mission immediately, because I know you all want to see Sensei and I do too. So join us next time for Sensei's Return.